Welcome back, heroes. Zeus here, and today we're diving straight into the heart of the great storm. Cascade and Krista are stepping up to face the storm boss, but here's the big question: can this setup really perform better than the classic Isaac Jhu combo? Stay with me, because the answer might change the way you build your team for this event. I'll set up the attacking team right from the start so you can see exactly what I'm working with. The composition I'm going to use is Krista with Biscuit, Cascade with Merlin, Orion with Chorus, Augustus with Albus, and Dorian with Axel serving as the team pet. This mix balances control, damage and sustain, giving us flexibility for the long path ahead. At the beginning of the storm event, you get a choice: go right or left. For my run, I'm targeting 180 storm resistance. That's the baseline I've always relied on in previous battles, and I consider it the minimum safe threshold if you want a real shot at killing the boss. Of course, if you can push resistance even higher, I strongly recommend doing so. It makes the final fight far smoother and less stressful. Timing also matters. I personally recommend completing the Great Storm event on day 3. By then, you'll have a clear picture of how many action points you've gathered, and you can plan your route with maximum precision instead of guessing early on. That preparation pays off when every move counts. To build up resistance, start by clearing out the weaker positions on the map. These battles are easier, but they're not pointless. They steadily increase your storm resistance and let you collect buffs along the way. Think of it as charging your team's batteries before plugging them into the toughest fights. But don't underestimate even those early nodes. Every fight drains resources, so pacing your team correctly is key. Now, this entire strategy requires 40 action points in total. 39 are dedicated to exploring the map, collecting enough buffs to hit 180 storm resistance, and unlocking enhancements from all 3 altars of power. The last point is reserved for the boss itself. The goal is a clean, one-shot victory, so the path is designed to maximize efficiency while minimizing risk. The altars of power are especially critical to this run. At the first altar, I always select the buff that increases pure damage dealt by 20%. With Augustus' superconductivity converting both his own and Orion's magic damage into pure damage, that buff essentially slices straight through the boss's defenses. At the second altar, healing becomes the priority. The 20% healing boost is essential because the storm boss deals heavy area damage that stacks quickly. This buff allows Dorian to keep the entire team afloat much longer. And even if Dorian goes down during the fight, his vampirism aura continues to heal nearby allies, which is one of the biggest survival advantages you can have in this mode. By the time you reach the third altar, the goal is all-around power. I grab the buff that increases both physical and magic attack by 20%. Unlike the earlier buffs, which target specific mechanics, this one strengthens every role on the team. Isaac, Jhu, Augustus, and Orion all hit harder, while Dorian's healing scales up right alongside them. Because it boosts base stats, this buff ties everything together and makes your team much more balanced heading into the final fight. Now let's move into the battle itself. Honestly, I wasn't expecting this team to perform as well as it did. Normally, removing Isaac from the front line means disaster. The team usually collapses too quickly. But Krista surprised me here. She managed to substitute for Isaac and still deliver solid results, which really highlighted her hidden potential in this setup. As the fight unfolded, I actually thought the team had enough power to one-shot the boss. And for a while, it looked like that would happen. But near the end, Krista went down, and the momentum shifted. The boss was left with just a sliver of health. If Krista had been able to hold the line just a bit longer, the fight would have ended right there with a clean one-shot. That's why I believe this strategy is still fully achievable. A small adjustment to pet patronage, maybe pairing Krista with Axel for more protection, or even Chorus to give her better control support, could be the key to keeping her alive longer. With that tweak, this team has everything it needs to finish the boss in one attempt. So, to wrap this up, the strategy is simple but powerful. Build your storm resistance to at least 180, secure the right buffs at each altar of power, and set up your team so you're ready to push through with maximum efficiency. With the right adjustments, this lineup has everything it needs to one-shot the boss. Now I want to hear from you. How do you approach the Great Storm? Have you tried a similar team, or do you have your own setup that works better? Share your experience in the comments, because your ideas might help another player in the community. If you found this breakdown useful, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss future guides, tips, and strategies. Remember, every small improvement brings you closer to victory. Stay sharp, keep experimenting, and dominate the battlefield. Salute and friendship.